Something Radiates, a novel by Brenda Marie Smith, an excerpt from Chapter 3. Johnny drew her toward him and kissed her with impossible tenderness. She could hardly break away, but at last he stopped. Ever the gentleman, he helped her from the truck, escorted her to the door, and hugged her by her shoulders, kissing the top of her forehead. The neighborhood felt exceptionally quiet. Some spring blossom, honeysuckle, wisteria, smelled overly sweet, its perfume hanging heavily in the thick, humid air. The atmosphere seemed oppressive to Sarah after basking in the breezes beside the river. "Good night," she said, squeezing his hand, "and thank you." "My pleasure, thank you." He walked away backwards, smiling and taking her in. When he climbed into his truck, Sarah waved and ducked inside, her adrenaline pumping overtime. Seeing no kids in the front room and the clock reading 11:52, she leaned her back against the door, expelling the air from her lungs. Then she twirled around the room, switched off the lights and the TV, and scurried off to peek in on each sleeping boy. The boys had apparently behaved well tonight, even going to bed without being told, bless them. Washing up in the bathroom, her mind and body, her thoughts and emotions were all focused on this phenomenal man, Johnny. He made her feel wildly alive, and she shimmered at the memory of his touch, his scent, the longing in his eyes. But as Sarah entered her room on her way to bed, the back door suddenly banged open. Glass shattered, then shattered again, the sound rising first from the dining room, then the kitchen. Things thumped, clanked, and clattered to the floor. Sarah froze. Oh God, please, should she look? She should get the kids. A crazy crescendo of crashing and more breaking glass rang out from the kitchen as if the contents of cabinets were being flung en masse to the floor. "I told you, Sarah. I told you to quit jerking me around." Mother of God, it was Dietrich. She was shaking so hard she could barely breathe. How dare that lunatic come in here and wreak havoc like this? The man had lost his mind entirely, and he was also between the kids and both outside doors. Desperate and trapped, Sarah was overtaken by a visceral fury. Before she gained control of it, she was halfway down the hall toward the kitchen, and she heard herself screaming, "Get the hell out of my house, you freak!" "Did you think I was kidding, bitch? You'd better take me seriously." Another monstrously loud barrage of busting glass and banging pans sounded as though kitchenware was being raked from counters and shelves and slammed against hard surfaces. Sarah stopped still, suddenly scared out of her wits of exposing herself to Dietrich in his rampage. She called out madly, "God damn it, get out of here, leave me alone. I don't love you, I will never love you." Behind her, Quincy's bedroom door jerked open. She squealed and spun to see Quincy in his doorway, looking terrified. In the next instant, a dark shadow at the opposite end of the hall caught her eye. She whipped around to see a pink ceramic lamp sailing toward, no, past her, and shattering against the frame of Quincy's door. Large shards of ceramic glass and shimmering pink splinters exploded into the air. Quincy screamed as a triangle of pink glass slashed into his forearm and blood spurted from the cut. Sarah shrieked in horror. Her son yelped in pain. "I told you, Sarah," Dietrich shouted from beyond her field of vision, past the end of the hall. "If you'd listened to me, this shit wouldn't happen, you selfish, spiteful whore." As Sarah leapt toward Quincy, things slammed against what had to be the dining room floor, then the back step. The back screen door banged against the jamb repeatedly, sounding like it was rebounding after not catching well enough to stay closed. She prayed that Dietrich had fled. Daniel's bedroom door flew open. He stood in the doorway screaming, "Mom!"